Hey guys, welcome to another episode of In Our Prime podcast and YouTube series, a show discussing adulthood and all the adventures you take along the way to becoming an adult. I'm one of your co-hosts, Priscilla Loomis, joined by my phenomenal husband, Ken Loomis.
That's me. What's up, guys? How we doing today?
Welcome to another phenomenal episode of In Our Prime. We are so glad to have you here. Welcome back. Hopefully you enjoyed our first episode with Nick Wright. He was great.
He was awesome.
Yeah, he was very,
Really good
very
dude.
chill. We enjoyed speaking with him. Tonight's guest is a goddess, which is why I busted out my goddess shirt.
Too.
Tara Schuster is an author and a playwright and a former TV executive. Our convo was absolutely breathtaking, and I hope you guys enjoy it. But you know how we start our show. Hopefully by now.
Talking about the one you've seen.
Exactly.
So
that's all they need.
That's all they need.
We always start the show with our In Our Prime topic. And we do have a couple topics tonight, so I'm excited about it. And we are going to start with our own in-house marital issue.
Dun, dun, dun.
So I had posed to Ken that on our 5-year anniversary, I want to upgrade my ring. And I'm showing it here.
Honey, if you can't see it, then it's understandable. I got it from a bubblegum machine. You put a quarter in,
boom.
And
I said, on our 5-year anniversary, I'd like to get it bigger. And he has a problem with that.
I do.
Why?
Because that ring is what symbolizes our marriage.
And a bigger ring will not.
The bigger ring isn't us, isn't the symbol. So you're basically trading it in for a better model.
But if our love grows, shouldn't the ring?
The ring is like a circle.
Exactly. Right? Shouldn't the circle grow?
It's not a rectangle.
You can't grow the circle?
Well, then your finger would have to grow too if your ring's getting bigger.
Well, the circle is not necessarily. It's the diamond that is on the circle that is growing because of our love.
Okay, if you think so, that's nice. But no, I disagree. That's the ring I got you. If that ring's not good enough for you,
that's not what I said.
You're saying you want better. That's not good enough.
I want bigger.
If that was good enough, you wouldn't have to update it. We get a car because the car is not good enough. We get a new house because the house we have now is not good enough. We need more.
You're trying to say it's not good enough as in it's
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Oh, silence.
I'm saying, no, I'm trying to collect my thoughts. I'm trying to understand where you're coming from, and I'm listening to you. So now I'm going to say my point.
Stalling.
I'm not stalling. When you have a car, the car works for where you are in life at that time. And you drive it, wear and tear, and then hundreds of new models come out. It's not saying that you don't love that car that you're in. It's not that you don't value the car. It's just you want something different. You want something more. It's still a car, but you just want something different. Same thing with your home, as you posed. When you have just you and I, we live in a beautiful home right now.
Mm-hmm.
We already outgrew it. So we're going to buy another home that's a little bit bigger. The love of you and I is still there. It is still all up in the house, in those 4 walls, but we just need a bigger space. So we grow. We get a house with maybe 3-4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a bigger kitchen, a larger couch, a bigger TV. But the love that you and I have will still be in those 4 walls, even though it got bigger. So to wrap up my point, when I got this ring, this was a symbol of you telling me that you love me and you want to put a ring on it. Thank you. We got married. We have a wonderful marriage. In 5 years, I might want something a little bigger. Maybe
And
a
I
little
have no
flashier.
problem getting
Okay.
a separate new ring, but to modify the one you have means the one you have is not good enough.
What is
You
this
put
thing
an
with
extension and an addition on your house because the one and the size of it now is not good enough.
it
Whether
just
it's not
doesn't
nice,
fit?
that fits.
This You're absolutely right. So why can't the ring will still be on my finger? I just want to add a diamond to it. But I don't think that they can do that.
I don't think they can either.
That's why I need a new ring.
Just like you can put a new engine in a car, or you can put an addition onto your house. But to circle back to your point, you get a new car because your old car isn't good enough.
Why is
Whether
this
the
thing with
engine
not good
breaks,
enough? It's not that. It's just that you need
you don't
or
need,
would like a new one. There's nothing
because the old
wrong.
one isn't working enough.
It's fine. It
Then keep it.
works. But wait,
I keep my car because it still works. I'm
you're
not
the
getting.
only you might be
No,
the only
no, I
person.
disagree.
Really?
Yeah.
You think everybody in the world is driving the same car that they started with because it still works?
Yes.
Sometimes oh my goodness.
Unless they need a new one for their job
We're
or the
done.
career,
We're done.
and the car they have is not good enough, therefore they need a new one. Same thing with their house.
All right, guys. This is something new that we are going to start doing and try. Please let us know
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
in the comments, DM
How
us,
I'm right.
do whatever you need to do. Let us know, are you Team Priscilla or Team Ken? Abound Wine is a locally owned wine company that I absolutely love to talk about and promote because I love small businesses, I love supporting women entrepreneurs, and I love wine. So this just seemed like a beautiful partnership. When you support Abound Wines, you're getting an authentic product that is absolutely and truly incredible. They pride themselves on being hands-on and involved in every step of the winemaking process, from devining and crushing the grapes to barreling, bottling, and corking the wine. When you support and try Abound Wines, you are getting the heart and soul of this brand. The fabulous owners, Amber and Ariana, truly care about what their customers think and want their wine to really bring joy. Visit aboundwines.com today to see why we love this brand so much. Welcome back, guys. I am excited to announce our second topic of the evening.
This one was heated.
It was.
This was almost a fight.
It was a fight. There's a difference between almost and it was. It was a very big fight. I did not speak to you for several minutes.
Yeah.
It is Women's History Month. Yes.
Yes, queen.
Yes, queen. And Ken, actually, I'll let Ken explain.
Yeah, let me turn.
Yeah, go ahead.
So as we know, I'm a social studies teacher, and this month is my month to do our bulletin board in the hallways for the social studies department. Math has one, science has one, English, Spanish, history. So I did famous women in her story, women who've made history over the years in multiple fields, not just history related, but entertainment, so on and so forth. And I was talking to my lovely wife about, hey, bulletin board is 85% full, looking for, a few other women to add. And we started talking, and basically what happened is she told me that I needed to have Serena Williams on that bulletin board. And my, I guess, debate was, as amazing as Serena is, she's phenomenal, she's awesome, but what she has done in terms of other women throughout all of history is not highest achievement. So professionally, she's phenomenal. Her Grand Slam titles, what she's done, probably the best athlete of the 21st century, arguably, debatably. But in comparison to Susan B. Anthony and others, Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, so on and so forth, Serena just didn't make the cut.
You done?
Yeah.
And I'm going to read exactly what is on Wikipedia about Women's History Month.
First of all, it's Wikipedia. It can be edited by anybody. I have a good
Okay.
friend who likes to edit Wikipedia.
Okay.
So,
I'm
hi,
just
Pete.
highlights the contributions of women to events in history and contemporary society. It is celebrated during March, and it is it recognizes us like a national week. That's awesome. So that is pretty much what Wikipedia says, and I will do a little bit better of a research in a little bit. But I I feel as a woman that Women's History Month should be dedicated to women who have contributed to any form
I don't disagree.
of American history.
I even branched out of America.
I know you did, but we're talking specifically about Serena Williams. And
Yes.
so for me, as a woman celebrating Women's History Month, I'm looking at women who played a tremendous role in history, but also women who are currently making history. So you have to look at all the women who are breaking down doors,
Yes.
slamming down walls.
Yes. Shattering glass ceilings.
Yes. You have to look at all of these women.
Oh, I have.
And I don't think you should put one in a box and say the other ones don't count because she was the first or she
If
was the person that did this in the past. I understand that, but for a woman to do such a phenomenal job in a sport that one didn't really respect, one, females, two, African American females, and to know what she went through. I believe Allison Felix should be on that wall as well. It When it comes to women in history or women making history, I don't believe that there should be a filter or a stopping point or a period. I
there
think
has to be, if you're saying who is the Mount Rushmore, then there
no.
is. You
I'm not
can't just have infinite heads on Mount Rushmore.
That's not what women's history
I get that,
it's
but the bulletin
celebration of
board is only
all.
so big. I
I
can't just be plastering things in the parking lot and
I
on the windows.
I understand that, but you said that you had more space.
I do. And with the people that I have here, didn't make NCAA tournament, you get your field. Some people don't make the cut. And Serena did not make my cut. As amazing as I think she is.
But Lucille Ball did.
Lucille Ball, yes.
Was right next to Harriet Tubman.
Well, I did not put them in any order. I just stapled
I'm
them
not
up.
okay. I didn't mean like next to, but she made the cut next to Harriet
She,
Tubman. So
yes,
you think
she
that
was the
Lucille
first woman to own her own production studio in the 1960s. She sold her stake, which became Paramount. Her production company,
Paramount.
yes, her production company produced the TV shows like Mission Impossible and Star Trek. She owned it. She ran it. To me, what that breakthrough for women was more significant and had more of an impact than what Serena has done.
And I will also say you are not a woman and you are not black. So you
You're
have
right.
no idea the hurdles that I will say we, because I am a black female athlete, that we have faced and the trials that we've overcome. So Lucille Ball might have had a door open because she was a white female over being a black female. So that's a hurdle that you don't even know that Serena could have
I'm not
faced.
saying that's not a hurdle,
Okay. But
but and I don't want you to
you only have 2 more
nothing.
minutes, so make your
No,
case.
we could L to this down to whatever. So I have like through history, Queen Elizabeth I, Sojourner Truth, Abigail Adams, Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Harriet Tubman, Dorothea Dix, Eleanor Roosevelt, Rosa Parks, Betty Friedan, Mother Teresa, Malala, Betty Ford, Margaret Thatcher, Sandra Day O'Connor. They have all done, in my historical professional opinion as a history teacher,
As a
more
history.
for just women and culture and society than anyone had. Like Janet Reno in the 1980s tried 5 white cops because they beat and murdered a black man. This is in 1980. where there is no cell phones, there's no proof, there's no evidence, none of that. That's amazing. The fact that she was one of 16 women in the class of 500 of Harvard Law is damn impressive.
I'm not knocking any of the women that you have on that list or on your board. That's not what the argument was at all.
If there's 32 spaces,
okay,
right? 40 spaces, whatever the number is,
okay,
you are. So kind of like
no,
NBA All-Star game came out, who got snubbed? Well, if you're going to snub, someone got snubbed and you're going to replace, who are you taking out?
I don't want you to replace. I'm just saying the same way that I just said that all these women are breaking glass ceilings and knocking down the door, just add her.
Literally, there's no room on the bulletin board.
Then put her right next to the bulletin board.
That's not the bulletin board, though. So now you're literally coloring outside the lines,
exactly,
painting outside the box,
which is what we do as women
Ruth
in
Bader
general.
Ginsburg, Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, Mary Jackson, Sally Ride, Clara Barton, Florence Nightingale, Grace Hopper, Jane Austen, J.K. Rowling, Annie Oakley, Coco Chanel, Amelia Earhart.
So Ken wanted to make his own promotion for our sponsors at A Bond Wine, a local wine company that prides itself in being authentic, with the goal being to touch lives and create bonds through sharing a glass of wine with family, friends, or strangers. Marriage is all about compromise, so here's Ken's pitch.
Wine is good, wine is great. Wine is something I do not hate. It's great at home, it's great on the bar, it's great on the bike, it's great in the car. Wherever you go, wherever you'll be, drink A Bond Wines and you'll forever feel free.
All right, here we are for our third topic of the evening. And it's something that is very relevant to today, because I guess the news broke about one of the people today or yesterday. And it's cancel culture, which I didn't really know was this popular of a thing, but apparently I don't even know who's canceling it. Is it the generation?
So it's the younger generations.
Okay.
And dare I say, the more liberal people in society.
Okay. Because the cancel, apparently what happened was they're trying to cancel Dr. Seuss.
There's a couple of Dr. Seuss books that have come out that might have racial undertones, so they're not publishing them anymore. I have not read those books. So I don't, besides Hop on Pop, Green Eggs and Ham, and Cat in the Hat, I don't even know how many books Dr. Seuss
We know the hits.
Yeah.
Are any of the hits being canceled?
None of those books sounded familiar to me.
Oh, okay. So this must be...
They're Dr. Seuss books, but...
All right. So, and then now they're trying to also cancel Eminem.
That's something that was just whispered around the interwebs.
And so what happened?
Basically, his music is deemed offensive and people want it to be removed, just like politicians or actors or actresses, anything else along those lines. So it's kind of muddying the waters with, free speech in comparison to this person, whoever he or she may be, doesn't deserve to have the rights to say the vulgar, insensitive, I'm air quoting for those listening, words. Like Eminem, you listen to his music and you're like, man, he says some not friendly stuff.
Oh yeah, that's Eminem though.
That's Eminem, and you have a First Amendment right to say certain things, especially when it's art and it's covered.
Now, and you don't have to buy it or you don't have to listen to it.
And that's what comes down to my ultimate point, is if you don't like Eminem, don't listen. If you're, because Andrew Cuomo, governor of New York, is in the news now because multiple women have accused him of sexual assault, sexual harassment, and they're asking him to resign. And he's like, no, I'm not. Well, if you don't like Cuomo, then don't reelect him. Don't vote for him. Plain and simple. That's the democracy. That's America we have. Do I believe Cuomo's purely innocent and these are all made up? Probably not. But until there's proof in the court of law, we got to stop removing these people because of, I don't want to say hearsay, but allegations. If you don't like, if you don't like the person, okay. If you don't like Eminem's music, you're not going to cancel him because you've known for 20 years Eminem's music's bad. Yes. And no one our age,
we all were there. We were all there when it first came out.
In the young to mid 30s, we all grew up on Eminem. Yeah. So we know this is who it is. But I think maybe like 18-year-olds, like the younger generation that didn't grow up with Slim Shady And that those records, they look at him like, wow, like this is offensive. How can people listen to this? It kind of ties into the potato head topic we discussed.
I just don't understand. I guess the thing is, cancel them how?
Like
they just
remove them.
No, I mean that. I understand that, but what I mean is, do we just drop them off the face of the earth? Do we just never hear from them again?
One problem I have, especially being the history teacher, is we have to stop judging people of the past through the lenses of modern time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people want to cancel Abraham Lincoln. He freed the slaves, but he did not think black and white people should be equal. So therefore, we should cancel him because he wasn't non-racist back in the 1860s. Even all of our abolitionists who wanted to get rid of slavery did not think blacks and whites should be equal.
I think the biggest issue that I'm having is that people want to cancel it when, one, it's history. We have to learn from history, and we learn from history and we hopefully do better. I can understand certain people being upset, like you said, about the Abraham Lincoln. Look at the time. Look at where America was. Everything was very different, obviously. And so why are we looking back? Do I think that there should be statues of racists? Absolutely not. But we have to be able to.
Statue.
And I guess that's the thing. And I think this is where I think
racist was like, no, everyone was homophobic back then too, because no one came out and said, "Hey, I'm gay."
No. And I understand that, but I think when it comes to race and sexual orientation, things of that nature, they hit home.
I get
Canceling Eminem means nothing to me. I think that's stupid. I think that's frivolous. I think canceling, or whatever, Dr. Seuss, because it was racial and it was deemed
racially insensitive.
Yeah, they said concluding that the egregious racial and ethnic stereotypes in the works are hurtful and wrong. So when it comes to racial slurs and that kind of stuff, I don't think cancel, but just if you want to stop selling them, okay. Yeah. I think the word cancel is just being used so
it is
radically and loosely.
It's something that has a bigger effect, politically and everything down the line. But you can't. It's one thing to remove statues of Confederate generals and rename military bases that are named after Confederate generals. Because if you look at the Confederate Constitution, the word slavery is in there multiple times. They left the United States specifically for slavery. Whereas in the U.S. Constitution, which was created in the 1780s, slavery is not written there once. The word slave is not in there. Property, persons, three-fifths compromise, all that stuff. So yeah, having a statue of Robert E. Lee, because he was the leader, of Jefferson Davis, because he was the president of the Confederacy, who willingly formed their own country for slavery, yeah, that's one thing. But George Washington had slaves. Yes, a lot of our founding fathers did. And
what did I know we were just talking about him, the comedian
Jon Stewart?
Yes. What did he say? Did you watch that episode?
Of what? The Daily Show?
Yeah, he said something about the cancel culture.
Yeah, it's just kind of the same thing. There's good people who have done slightly bad things once or twice. And
everyone has.
Yeah, and you should be judged for 100% of your work. And if 95% of your work is great and the 5% isn't, you shouldn't be judged by that 5% unless that 5% is just egregious. I'm a pretty good guy, but I killed 4 people. Okay, no.
Yeah.
Not at all.
I think there has to be a line with this cancel culture thing. You can't cancel everything.
You can't go back. You could cancel modern times because, okay, like,
stop it before it gets out of control.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like the dirt came out on Bill Cosby or
but do
Harvey
you
Weinstein.
Think that okay. if Eminem came out today, would people listen to him?
I don't know, because when I listen to like rap hip hop music, it's late 80s to 2010. I don't really connect with today's rap music.
Oh, I don't either. Oh
so
my goodness,
yeah,
no.
my playlist is NWA, Biggie, Tupac, DMX, Busta Rhymes.
Yes.
Diddy,
I'm not here for. I will say I'm not here for the
Yes.
cancel culture. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it makes sense, and I don't believe that everything that I'm just going to call them, the people who are canceling this, whatever that they're canceling, I just don't believe that they understand what they're doing, and everyone deserves, in a sense, a second chance.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily even the second chance. It's more of, this is who we are as a country. Like, everyone pushes the boundaries. Even right now, you have corporations and business models that are financially smart, but morally pretty wrong and pretty evil. So if you're going to, boycott them for being bad, like, you got to boycott all of our businesses that mass produce goods in the sweatshops in Asia. Mm-hmm. Because that's morally wrong too.
I know. Why don't y'all cancel these people like Nike who are, outsourcing for, and it. Yeah. There's so many. I think there's a whole show on crazy stories.
Pushing that moral line in terms of finance has always been around and will always be around, from slavery to minimum wage, industrial revolution, to sweatshops, until even further pollution, the whole nine. That's what's.
Why don't you cancel student debt? Why don't y'all get behind that? Why don't y'all cancel negativity? Why don't y'all?
Is it possible to cancel negativity?
Well, they're trying to cancel Eminem, and obviously they can't cancel him. His stuff is still going to be sold everywhere. He's still going to be.
Will Spotify or Apple Music pull Eminem?
I doubt it.
Let's hope not. But that's what
He's a staple in hip hop history. He
is.
I don't think so. There's a lot of.
But yeah,
why don't they cancel Afternoon Delight? Why aren't they offended by that?
That's not nearly as vulgar as.
I'm just saying, and during that time, it made.
In the 70s, the song "Under the Boardwalk," "We'll Be Falling in Love" was originally "We'll Be Making Love," and that was censored because making love under the boardwalk was too risque.
I just feel like they need to.
For the times.
I think we need to cancel negativity, self-hate, and promote more self-love.
To me, it's simple. If you don't like something,
and
stay away from it.
Yeah, stay away from it.
But we can't rewrite the past and what happened, especially with today's standards. So yeah, if you don't like Cuomo, don't elect him. Okay, that's fine. Ted Cruz bailed during the ice trip, then go.
You're doing a lot of. You're running that line of rapists. Yes, I think we should cancel rapists. I think that's
obviously
crazy.
You're not going to attend Charles Manson High School.
I understand that. That's what I'm saying. You can't. Like, you can learn from it, but that's the kind of stuff where.
To take down the Washington Monument because he had slaves, like, okay, having slaves is bad, but when it's legal,
it's a history lesson.
Yeah, it's a history lesson. Plus, it was legal. So morally wrong, yes, but legally wrong, it wasn't illegal. So how can you punish someone for doing something that's not illegal?
Because it was morally wrong.
It was morally wrong, 100%, but it was legally fine. Like, speeding is wrong. You could hurt somebody, but if you don't, people still do it. I know that's a horrible example in comparison to slavery, but so is sweatshop factories and corporations like Walmart, who pay all of their employees part-time and don't give them health benefits, even though they practically live there.
Yes.
But yeah, you can't even, like I said, I had a discussion with a former student 5-6 years ago, and she was like, "Oh, Teddy Roosevelt didn't do anything for the gay community." Like, it was 1904. There was no gay community. Being upset that Teddy Roosevelt wasn't LGBTQ, it wasn't a thing.
No, I understand that.
So you can't judge yesterday with today's standards, because the standards back then weren't what they are now. And we're all going to be shamed in 200 years by whoever's living then, saying, how dare we drive gas cars?
How could we do this to the earth?
Yes,
all
this other stuff. So they're going to judge us too. But the times you're living in currently, if you don't like someone, don't vote for them, don't listen to their music, don't buy their products. Sure, fine, whatever. but trying to rewrite the past to be politically correct, it's going to be a never-ending cycle.
I don't think it's even about being politically correct. I think it's more of just, this is how this generation thinks. If they don't like it, they feel that they have the right to cancel it.
Well, yeah, as times move on, the younger generations get more and more liberal, and what was liberal for us when we were 18 is now going to be normally
very different,
borderline conservative when we're like 38. That 20-year window is going to shift huge.
All right, here we go. Welcome back to In Our Prime, Ken and R's podcast series. We are so excited to be joined. I'm still working on my fluency of being so professional and fabulous all the time.
Such a goddess.
I know. I had to wear this shirt because of our guest.
Because no one would know you were a goddess unless you wore the shirt.
I wore it specifically for our guest because this is what she makes me feel.
Me too.
Yeah, you're killing it.
Yes.
So Tara Schuster is an author, public speaker, playwright, and accomplished entertainment executive. She is the former vice president of talent and development at Comedy Central, working on Key and Peele, At Midnight, and Lights Out with David Spade. I was introduced to Tara through her phenomenal book, Buy Yourself the Effin' Lilies, which is highly praised by amazing women like Chelsea Handler, Glennon Doyle, and Angelica Houston. She hosts a virtual book club. She's no stranger to being published in The New Yorker, InStyle, and Forbes, and has done speaking engagements for Random House and Ivy League universities and the Jane Club. So I'm so blessed and honored to have this powerful and inspiring guest. Please welcome Tara Schuster.
Wow. Priscilla, that you honestly, I've got like the chills. That was like
Did good?
Yeah, because you really, I was like, ooh, she knows some stuff. Like, and the way you framed it is like, I never even really thought about like, oh yeah, Glennon, Angelica Houston, Chelsea Handler, like, oh, they're cool women. Mm-hmm. Like it was always like, I don't know why, but I never really put the pieces together that it's like a cool group.
It's awesome. It's badass women that we envision as having it together, as they're in the spotlight, so they don't need any guidance. They're the ones giving all of the motivational talks. So to read and be on your website and then to read your forward and then to go on their Instagram profiles and to see your book was the most grounded I felt, that I wasn't crazy. Thank you, Jesus. But it was so beautiful. We're a cult and I love it.
Thank you for reflecting that back to me, because I think like when you're in it and you're hustling and you're just like, go, like do this thing, do that. You don't like sit back and really enjoy it, that these women who are icons, who I admire and I have like soaked up everything from their memoirs, that it's funny, like we're all part of this tribe of people who are trying to make meaning out of their lives and help other people.
Yeah.
And one of the coolest things ever, like how we met on Instagram, like what I love, there are all kinds of problems with social media.
Yeah.
But there's also a fucking amazing thing, which is cool people get to meet one another. Like, and we just started chatting on the DMs.
Just old friends. Yeah.
I slid into your DMs and
it's true.
Replied.
Yes.
Replied. I felt amazing.
It was like this like goddess athlete even cares about this book. Like even because in the book I write a lot about running and I'm such an amateur runner. So I was like, wait, a real runner cares? Oh my God.
I can't even give myself that kind of credit. I take 10 steps and jump over a bar, boo-boo. So you run so much more than I do.
But it's like real. Like when you do, like, do you know what I mean? Like mine is just a flail. Yours is a like highly trained, like.
Yes. I mean, but I guess when people are like, oh, you're a professional runner, I'm like, no. I kind of prance and I this thing. And then like my friends make fun of me all the time. I'm very gallantly hopping along. So when people are like, oh, you're a runner, I'm like, am I though? I feel honestly, you do better than I do when it comes to
Well, let's just get into a competition about it.
All right.
Let's do it.
An ongoing thing.
Yep.
And then when the world opens up again, you have to go wherever you are and be like, you're ready to run, boo? Let's do this.
And then I'm going to flail and you're going to see the difference between a professional athlete and somebody who picked up running at the age of 25. And I've also never run with anybody. Like, and I've never had a coach or anything. So it's sort of like just what the Nike Run Club app told me to do.
Got you. I mean, it's a really good start. I'm going to tell you something. That's a great start. Do you consider yourself to be like Phoebe
from Friends?
Oh, I actually don't know that show that well.
Oh, I know. Strike one in the friendship between you two.
Okay, I need to watch it because I love Marta Kaufman, the creator. Like I've watched her other shows like Frank, is it Frankie and Gracie and which way?
Oh, on Netflix.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I just know that Taylor Swift had something to say about it. That's all.
She did?
Yes, because apparently they made a joke about Taylor Swift and how quickly she goes through men.
Oh no.
And T Swift was not happy and screenshotted it, made it a whole thing. Oh yes. T Swift was not happy.
I got some Googling to do. I got friends to watch. I already have homework. I love it.
I know it's only been like the first 45 seconds and we already have 2 assignments for you, but no. I mean, I just started a new job. So now I'm like into what's happening, what's current in real life and in entertainment as well. So I have to be the balance. And so now I feel that my whole brain is just filled with things Ryan Seacrest said, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok dances, and then COVID.
That's about it.
What a time to be alive.
For real. We're really killing it in 2021. We are living our best selves in 2021.
Recently, my publisher and also I have these 2 amazing interns who they're at the same college I went to. They're so smart. They're like way smarter than me. Like so funny. They're so like on it. And they were like, dude, you need to get on TikTok. Like you need to be on these like therapist TikTok accounts. Like doing
yes.
And so it's funny because they're like, supposedly this internship is me mentoring them. But really it's them mentoring me. It's them being like, this is the culture. Yeah. Would you like to be a part of it? And me like, I don't know. Why don't you show me?
Give it a try.
We'll give it a try. Yeah.
But it is crazy because now that social media is so prevalent in culture, you have to keep up with it. And for somebody, I'm 32, my husband's 32. When my publicist says you need to be on TikTok, there's no relevance for me. I'm not doing dances. I'm not, but then it's almost like OnlyFans. OnlyFans started as a way for the art world to come and express themselves, share their culture and their art and their work. And then one little thing came in and
boom,
you know, Barstool got a hold of it and now it's this whole other thing. So now I look at TikTok and it's another way. My friend is an artist and she shares all of her work there. She said it's a great platform. And now that I'm thinking about it, yes, women like you need to be on there helping some of these children out here.
Exactly. And that's sort of how I feel about it is like, at first I'm like, I don't know, like, do I really like another platform, another thing? But then I'm like, you know, the mission of my book, which is basically I grew up in a neglectful household where things came to die and I didn't really have parents and I didn't learn how to take care of myself, which kind of made me this mess wreck disaster of a person by the time I was 25. Who, you know, I like lived in a permanent anxiety attack. I had real issues with depression and I hit rock bottom on my 25th birthday when I drunk dialed my therapist and threatened to hurt myself.
And that part of the book was your whole book was incredible, absolutely incredible. But the way you phrased it and how you were so descriptive of how you remember waking up and realizing that you can't live like this anymore, it spoke to me. But keep going. Yes, I'm sorry.
Thank you. And the reason I try to paint that picture is partially so that I don't experience it alone, because it's one of the low points of my life. But if I can have other people on the journey with me, it's not quite so bad. But yeah, I woke up on my aggressively floral duvet, having no memory of the night before of my 25th birthday. Realized by looking at my voicemails that my perma-calm, vaguely European therapist had been so alarmed by whatever voicemail I left that she was trying to get me to a hospital. And that, I had known my life was out of control before that moment, but I hadn't known my life was in danger. And that was really scary.
Tipping point.
Yes. So that morning I just decided, like you just alluded to, that if I don't save my life now, I am not going to have much more of a life to live.
And I do want to, I really want to get into the fact that this is like the same thing that happens with a lot of people when they look from the outside looking at your life. You were killing it.
Yeah. It's funny because, on the outside, it looked like everything was fine. I had gone to an Ivy League college. I was now on the bottom rung of the corporate entertainment ladder, but like killing it, like really crushing it and like making a name for myself. And nobody at work would have any idea that I was I was living in an anxiety attack. I'd go home and self-medicate with weed and booze and boys and anything to numb out of my mood. And then I would like restart the whole process. So people at work didn't know, my friends didn't know. It was really like a very hidden thing, which is, I think, a good reminder to everyone that like, we don't know what's going on inside of people. We have really no idea. And I barely knew, because I had built this narrative for myself of, you didn't have the worst childhood ever. You should be fine. You should be better. And because I kept telling myself how I should be, it made it impossible to deal with how I actually was. Now that morning, like you said, like the tipping point, the reason it was the tipping point for me was because I couldn't, it like didn't matter if I should or shouldn't feel better. I hated myself and was afraid that if I didn't do something drastic, I would continue down this path and would not have a life to live any longer.
And I mean, most people, and I think this is why, we're going to get back to the TikTok. This is why it's important for you to be on TikTok, because at that moment, that's where a lot of people are right now.
Yeah. And that's, the reason I like bring up this story from the book is just sort of like, I have been there for real. Like, this isn't like some cute, you know what I mean?
It's like a cute little story. Like,
not just trying to sell some books.
Like I didn't set out to write a self-help book. I set out to save my life.
I'm about to say, it was your self-help book. It was a letter to yourself to express exactly what happened, and look at what it did.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but like it literally, so the book, where it comes from is that next morning I decided, okay, I have to be my own parent. I have to reparent myself, nurture the shit out of myself. I'm not going to neglect myself anymore. I didn't have parents to ask what to do next. I didn't have wise mentors, but I did have a Google Doc. Because I, had been a student really recently, and Google Docs were like big at Comedy Central. So I was like, what if I made a Google Doc of reparenting myself? Like, what if I made this my work? And I just attacked it the way I would have attacked going to an Ivy League college or whatever. I wrote down all the questions I had. What are values? What are principles? What are vegetables? Like, genuinely, what are they, and which ones
Do I really need?
Yeah.
What's the
and
crap
do
I want
I have to?
What is the crap I gotta keep away out of my plate?
Yeah, exactly. And, and I observed the parents of my friends who I noted were not screaming at everybody all the time. That was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What would it be like if I gave people the benefit of the doubt and didn't just assume they were going to be mean to me? Like, so I had all kinds of questions. I kept tracking the Google Doc. 5 years later, the Google Doc was 600 pages and I was a different person. And
it's amazing. That's so beautiful.
And that's where the book comes from, is at that point I realized, oh shit, I have an offering. Like, I did all this work. I took crazy extensive notes. Maybe I can give this to people who are in my situation or similar situations, because what I've realized is that we are, we've got the pandemic going on, but I think there's also a pandemic of nobody feeling like they're enough.
Yep.
Nobody feeling worthy.
2,000,000%. And then I think it's the culture. And
the culture.
For me, I mean, like you said, when from the outside looking in, everyone assumes you're doing fine, no matter what. Everyone assumes we're doing fine. And so much of the time is just these presumptions of, oh, so this is going on. How fabulous is it? And that was the reason why I opened up about my journey through social media, because everyone was asking, how are you? And I was tired of saying, I'm fine, I'm good.
Right.
I just didn't want to lie anymore. And I think you being open and honest and genuine is exactly what people need. And they didn't need, I'm having a bad day, so I had a quart of ice cream and I felt better. You were like, I'm on the floor, I'm passed out, and I needed to, start anew, start fresh again. It's the genuine realness. We've all been there. We've all been drunk, passed out, and wondering, crap, what did we do yesterday? What happened?
Oh, yeah.
And so I think through your story of absolute honesty, it's a really big lifeline.
Thank you.
I think it's great because if you can admit, then others can admit too. Usually being the first person to do something is always tough. So, but when other people see other people open up and kind of self-expose themselves, they're like, okay, if she can open up, I can open up. And I think that's one of the best things about you and what you've done and with your book.
Thank you. You know what's funny about it is I'd say the comment I get the most is, you're so honest. Like, the book is so honest. And what surprised me the first time I heard that was like, I was like, wait, should I have lied? like is everybody else lying? Yeah, I was like, wait, did I say something like too much or wrong? And sometimes I get worried. I actually texted my sister this yesterday, like, what, like, sometimes I don't even know what I'm doing, other than I can't lie about who I am anymore at all. It kills my soul. I can't do it. And what's funny, like, to what you were saying, Priscilla, and like, what's funny is that doesn't mean that even though I wrote a memoir that like details some of my darkest moments, on Instagram, I try not to overshare, because I think it's still possible to overshare. Like, if I'm still processing something, if it's raw, if it would in some way kind of hurt me and my process, I would never post about it. I really only post or write about something typically a year at least after it happens. That's about how long it takes me to get through it. Every once in a while I will, but like, if I'm giving someone a piece of advice, for example, which I do a lot, I get asked a lot for advice. It's typically something that I myself am pretty far removed from. So I feel like I have enough distance and perspective to talk honestly about it.
That's really powerful, by the way, that you just said that. Because I know, I mean, I don't know all of our audience yet, because this is our episode 2, but I love that you take the time to step away from the issue and process it wholly. I give myself 24 hours.
Some people do, yeah. 24 hours is usually the most.
Like, I am learning how to do that rather than being so explosive.
Yeah.
I think it comes with, I don't want to say maturity or age. It comes from a place of vulnerability and wanting to really understand why you're reacting this way or what's really happening. So I'm about to write some of this stuff down. Okay, a year.
Take a year.
Year.
And I'm looking at you. Lord, yes, take the year.
Just
365.
We're gonna let him be.
It's practice. You know, I mean, really all of this stuff comes down to practice.
Mhm.
Like I have a lot of practice because I had no options, because I urgently did not want to die, because I had this weird Google Doc. Like the way I came to this was just through practice, which I think it's like why I really recommend to people who are starting out on their self-care process to journal, is because it gives you a place to become self-aware, which is like the first step in learning how to take care of yourself, is just, who am I?
Mm-hmm.
What do I like? How do I feel? Because like you said, most people just think they're fine or say they're fine, even if they intuitively know they're not.
Yeah.
So, you know, for me, it's just, I wrote these things out to such an extent that I kind of could recognize, like, okay, it takes about a year for me to be able to talk about something. And so it's funny because it's almost not even personal to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even care. I don't care that people know these things. Like, I've dealt with it. It's not personal. Which is funny when you're dating people, because they're like, you reveal such personal things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that shit doesn't feel personal to me. Like, that happened. I'm over that. I don't even care.
Do you feel that after that year, and once you feel that, in a sense, detachment, do you feel that you've forgiven yourself for whatever it was?
That's a good question. That's such a good question. Typically, yes. Like, typically I've gotten a lot better at just letting go. And because it doesn't work to beat yourself up, you know, I am a very results oriented person. That's how I climbed a corporate ladder so quickly. That's how I got this book deal having never basically written anything. Like, I've done a lot of things that from the outside are kind of like, how is that possible? But I did it through little steps and not beating myself up the whole time that I was doing it. And instead thinking, well, at a minimum, I'm a hard worker. I know I'm a kind person. Like, I know I don't go out of my way to be shitty to people.
Yeah. Yep.
So those two things together, like, I think this will work.
Awesome.
And that has fueled me so much more than if I was this whole time like beating myself up, not believing in myself, criticizing myself. I find that kind of optimism and forgiveness of my blunders, which are many,
as everybody,
as everybody, has been really helpful.
Oh wow, that's amazing. I'm sorry, I've been hogging it. Go ahead.
You're
Ken.
good. You're good.
I could talk to her
fine.
forever.
I know you can. Yeah.
I really hope
now,
that
now it's through phone and conversation rather than texting in the
We're
DM.
taking our friendship to the next
level once
yes.
Once gets watched. Yes. So what has been your career highlight so far, or do you really think that you haven't achieved that yet?
Ooh, I like that.
Is it still to be determined future?
That twist.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm going to give you a twist to your twist.
All right.
I think it's both. I think I've got an answer for both. I think the career highlight was the book just came out in France.
Oh.
And
that's awesome.
I used to have a clapping sound, but since we got such high technology, I don't have it. So
yes, you did.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank
really
you.
Cool.
Yeah, it's for me, because the last chapter takes place in Paris. Paris is like my be all end all favorite city.
Do you have the purse nearby?
No, I wish, because I'm moving, it's like hidden away.
Yeah. Okay.
But I feel very seen right now, so thank you. but then what we're talking about is at the end of the book, I go on a trip to Paris and I finally believe in myself enough to buy a Chanel bag, which sounds very frivolous, and it is. And after a life of hardship and neglect, I'm like all about like, fuck, like, yes, like I deserve a nice thing.
Yes. Buy yourself
nice.
Nothing lilies.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember reading the book and feeling, and I think what you said, like feeling seen, but it was so relatable. It was relatable. I understood when you were in Paris and you were soaking everything in. And it's also ties into that kindness.
Yeah.
Self-kindness and self-love are so important. And once you have that, it radiates. It radiates through your skin and the color of your life, everything. And so I felt that. So when you got that bag, when you waited in line and you knew exactly what you wanted, I was like, yes, queen, get it. I was so hyped for you. So I truly believe that. I am a big believer in that as well. But sorry, keep going.
No, thank you. No, I love that. And yeah, so like having the book actually come out in France was sort of just, you know, if you'd cut back to 30-year-old me who barely thought she was worth that bag, but decided to do it anyway. And then 5 years later, it's like a hit in France, like the book and this chapter, you know, that was crazy. But then I'd also say that every time you get to some career goal you've set for yourself, it's never enough. And it's never like the book just crossed selling over 100,000 copies. It's in 5 languages. Nice. It's like,
that's awesome.
Thank you. It's like, but I only say that to say, so do you think that I am like fully fulfilled and like, I've done it, the end. Oh, like, wow, I really, or do you think I'm like, what more can I do? Yes. What's next?
I'm going to do that second option.
Yeah. I think it's always that way.
I think it is too.
I don't think everyone's ever satisfied.
No. So, I mean, the basics. So like what I'm getting at is just, I don't even think there is a like career goal is what I'm learning, is that it's just actually how do I show up to things? Not like what do I get in the end, but how did I show up? How did I use my time? And I'm really having to beat it into my brain and soul that outcomes just, they can't mean much to me because they're so fake. They last for 1 second if you feel it at all, then it's gone. So it's more, you know, I'm trying to learn how it's more important to really enjoy the process, which is, it's been so enjoyable because I've met such cool people like both of you through this. Like we wouldn't have,
we're in that. That's amazing.
Like we wouldn't have crossed paths.
Yes,
that's true.
Had it not been for the book. And what matters the most in life, like I think pretty emphatically, is the bonds you create with other humans with the time you've got.
Absolutely. That's 2,000,000% right. I think, and it's something that I think a lot of people need to realize, coming from you and I, our journeys were not planned this way. We both did not plan for us to be where we are, but the journey, good and bad, have been amazing.
Yeah. And that's really important what you said, good and bad. Oh, yes. Like I can look at the bad moments and see, as long as I was fully being human in the bad moments, they're beautiful in their own way too. As long as I was present for them and like let them happen, and really like was myself. Like if I showed up fully as me in the bad moments, then there's something really beautiful to those too. And it's not, when I hear people say things like, when I get married, then I'll be happy. When I sell the book, then I'll be happy. It's like every alarm bell goes off in my brain because it can't work. It's just not how things work.
Do you feel like you have to give those people advice, like tell them? Or
yes, but it
like backfires. Over here at the restaurant and say, hold on, excuse me, no, you're wrong here, honey.
I actually was on a date. I'm aggressively not dating right now in the pandemic, but I was asked on a date and I did go on it.
Girls gotta eat.
Girls gotta eat. And again, Yes. And by the way, like after months of alone in a pandemic, I was like, a boy buys me dinner? Yes,
Sure.
please. Will you hug me? And he did.
Oh,
But
good. We'll talk about this after the show.
Yeah, we'll offline about it. But he said it was something like, God, I need to move, then I'll be happy. And I was like, I like made a joke like, well, as you know in life, you really just need to change the circumstances. It's always the circumstances. It's never inside that's the problem. And he was like not happy at all.
I was going to ask how he took it.
Not well. And so in my own personal life, so people on like Instagram or who subscribe to my newsletter, that kind of thing, readers,
yes,
ask me for advice all the time. When I have something worthwhile to say, I am happy to give it. In my personal life, I absolutely never give advice unless someone explicitly asks.
Okay.
Because I don't want to become that annoying friend, you know, like
like over intrusive type of deal.
Exactly. Or like, and think like, because I spend so much time thinking about these issues that like I have some special thing.
Yeah, you're better. You're better.
Yeah.
To do these things. I got you.
So, you know, it was this funny moment where I was like, I could see so clearly like the truth of the thing and that it like wasn't about where he lived and it wasn't. And I tried to do it as a joke, but looking back, I'm like, especially with who you're dating, like if you just started going on a date with him, like just shut the fuck up.
See, but I don't think I'll bring up 2 points. One, he wasn't right for you because you need somebody that I'm not going to say you need, but
don't be giving advice like that.
I'm not giving advice.
Solicited.
I just feel that you should accept somebody in your life that understands happiness, joy, the journey, love. These are the kinds of things that you need to be on the same page about. And so as much as it's great to reach your hand out and to help somebody, they've also got to already be on the climb.
Reach their hand out to hold.
Yes.
I mean, you nailed it. Like, I think what was sad about this particular situation was he was really hot. And and like, I was really into him for some other reasons. And then I was just like, yeah, but you've got work. You've got work to do.
Yes. It's a lot of work. Those kind
of.
Luckily, I was work free, and then we got together.
Yeah,
perfect. That's what it was.
When you guys met, you had done all the work.
I was already
you were
under
perfect.
Construction. Yes, exactly. Right.
That makes sense.
So on to our next question.
Yep.
We'll talk about this later, girl. You had a good question, Ken. Your next question.
Which one?
About her job.
Oh yeah. So.
This is something completely off.
Completely pivot.
Yeah.
Great.
Down
let's
the road.
Pivot.
And I promise we only have 2 more questions and then we will.
Oh no, we're good. We're good.
So I'm a big Comedy Central fan, and more specifically, Daily Show.
Ooh, yes.
Huge
Basically,
fan.
I think Jon Stewart is the man. Just based off what I've read, what I see on camera, is he as cool and as awesome of a person as he comes off?
Emphatically, yes.
Cool. Awesome. I'm so pumped.
You know, so I tell a story in the book about how when I was an intern there, all the other interns were like trying to do bits in front of the executive producers in misguided attempts to get discovered. But I realized that the coffee machine was actually broken and didn't have water and was just like inoperable, but that Jon Stewart actually made his own coffee so that like I could really contribute if only I made that coffee machine my bitch, and I did. But
the manual, like
I bought the machine very similar to learn how to use it at home. I was kind of psychotic on that coffee machine, but it actually ended up helping my career. Like the executive producers noticed, they helped me get a job at Comedy Central proper. But here's a little Jon Stewart story that's not in the book, which is a couple years later, I'm a rising digital digital like producer at Comedy Central. Like I make the digital things for stand-up specials.
Okay.
And Wyatt Cenac, who had a special on the network, needed to do a live stream, like a live comedy stream from the writer's room.
Okay.
So they send me to the Daily Show to do this live stream. And Jon Stewart, who I have spent so little time with, who for sure does not know my name, nothing, looks at me and says, "Do I know you?" And I'm like, I don't know. I was once an intern here. And through my muddling, he's like, "Yeah, how are you?" And I'm like, wait, what? Like, dude, you've got somewhere else to go. Like, you're stopping to talk to an ex-intern. Like, you don't know who I am. And it was such a small kindness just to ask, how are you? But it meant everything. And,
That's awesome.
and so I know, you know, I don't even need to know him that well to know, like, he is a good, kind person, in addition to being one of the funniest people on the planet and one of the smartest. Yeah.
Great.
Ken watches him quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
And so,
Trevor Noah, too. Yep.
If you get a chance, you should see Jon Stewart do stand-up. He's really funny. He did the Comedy Central had a comedy festival called Clusterfest that used to be in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And he headlined, Jon Stewart headlined like 2 years ago and just killed, like destroyed.
Yeah.
He was so good.
He's phenomenal.
Next time he's in town, you've got to check him out.
Yeah, we live in Wildwood, New Jersey, which is super
all the way down,
super
south,
down.
South Jersey.
So, and because of track, we got married, you know, the year before COVID hit, and I've just been track and football. So as soon as I retire, I told him, every break that you have, we're doing something, an activity.
Every Christmas break, yep, Easter break.
Easter, summer, we're doing things. Mm-hmm. We're all about that.
We haven't done anything besides going to Ireland to get married. That's it.
And then it was COVID.
And then
COVID, yeah.
And then it was like, now none of us do anything.
I know.
So yes, I want to do a lot of things. And so we will see Jon Stewart. We can go into his audience, right, for his show?
I don't think he has a show now, but he does perform stand-up live from time to time. So
depending, I guess, on the comedy club and how they run their procedures.
Yeah,
we definitely will. We only have one more question for you, and it's a question we ask all of our guests, which you kind of already answered. How do you feel the prime of your life went, or are you in the prime of your life? Are we seeing the best version of you?
Or is that still to come as well?
It's now and coming. It's present and a future. I feel annoying saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I feel very in flow right now. I feel the most myself I've ever felt.
That's good. That's really awesome.
Like the most intolerant of bullshit or things that make me feel bad. Yes. And so I feel really like, oh, I'm in my prime, but my prime keeps expanding.
Yes, I love that. That's amazing. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful journey because you are open about it. You get yourself now, you've chucked all of your life experiences to growth and learning. And now you're this badass female goddess. And I love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, I absolutely love it. Tara, thank you so much for being here. We greatly
appreciate it, Tara.
I'm sorry we took up so much more of your time.
No, I wanted to be here with you, and I'm so honored to be one of your first guests and help launch this into the mega success that it's going to be. You guys are great.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
We really do.
We have to plug you.
Oh, okay.
Plug you.
Hold on. Yeah. I gotta have this for my editor. So then he knows where to go.
Let a cut. Good, because I dropped my pen like 20 minutes ago, and I'm like trying to get it and not be obvious.
All right, you're good now? Okay.
And action.
Where can our followers find you? What's next for you? How can people become your people?
Well, I would love for all of our people to be together. That would be so beautiful.
Man, that's a good answer.
I know. She's so awesome.
That was smooth.
Thank you. Thank you.
Running for office anytime soon? That's a very, very well put answer.
That seems too hard. to be honest. I'm like, I don't know about that.
Know what? We'll just start a new Google Doc and we'll
start
working. We'll just get after
it. I love it. Well, you can buy the book, Buy Yourself the Effing Lilies, anywhere books are sold. So Target, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, your indie bookseller.
Yay.
Yeah. And if you want to kind of join in, on Instagram, I'm Tara Schuster, and we have a group. We're called Team Lilies, and basically we do challenges. This month we're doing a journaling challenge, and the way to be really a part of it is you go to my website, taraschuster.com, sign up for the newsletter. It's so much easier for me to email you from the newsletter because the DMs are just, they're tough because they disappear too. So like I won't see it, but it won't disappear from my email, and I try to get back to everybody. So, and it's cool. It's like this whole community of like people who would have formerly like eye rolled at the idea of a gratitude list, but now we're like trying it.
Oh, I love it. I'm part of the
supporting
crew.
Nice.
Yes.
It's awesome. So, whenever your name pops up, I'm like, ooh, yay. Tara, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We will definitely be watching you. We know amazing things are coming your way.
Looking forward to the sequel.
Yes, we can't wait. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. That interview was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, Tara's phenomenal.
Tara is absolutely a lovely human being. And I want to, again, thank Bond Wines for sponsoring us and supporting us and showing us so much love.
We made a bond tonight. Tara Schuster, we made a bond. She said a bond in there. I was gonna
plug it in.
Yeah, but I was like, let me not step on her toes there a little bit.
So thank you guys so much for listening. Again, we will make sure that we tag all of the links to where you can find Tara, and follow her incredible journey, because it's something phenomenal. I really will say that.
What she's doing and her experiences is just, I think, something all of us have dealt with on either a micro or a macro scale at least one point in our life.
Absolutely. And I love that she's being super open about it. And I'm really excited for next week's guest. Next week.
And we're coming out of the gate strong. Yeah, with 3 for 3 for sure.
Yeah. Marcellus Wiley. What's his little nickname?
That dude.
Dude, yes. And
he was, if you watched him play.
Former NFL player.
Yep.
Great guy, author. So very, very excited to hear about his story.
TV personality, sports commentator.
Yeah, and he is about to go on a little bit of a break. I guess his spring break.
That's something, we got to talk to him about because his co-host has been in the news.
Yeah, his co-host is going to be on The Bachelor.
Nacho, baby.
So we're super excited to talk to him about it, talk to him about his family, and living his best life in his prime. So we will see you guys on the next episode of In Our Prime.
Catch you guys next week. Be safe.